Okay. Anyone is here. The last one had a problem and there was not going well. So I've started a new one. Cardamom. Hello. Hello, Noor. Yeah, it's me again. Unfortunately, the last one had a problem, so I had to start all over again. Welcome the moon witch. Why you called yourself witch? Okay, we gonna need give you some time so people would come and gather here again because I feel they've lost hope because of the internet cut. Hello, alaikum salam everyone. Okay, as I've said in my previous attempt, hello from France, welcome. Coquily, I don't think I'm able to read your name. Let me try. Kakilikas? Is that a real name? Maybe it's a nickname, but welcome. Welcome everyone. GG. I really love your content and you inspire me to study. I'm glad you are enjoying my content. This is such a big compliment for me. And I'm glad I'm inspiring you to do something so productive. Welcome, people from Pakistan, India. Welcome. Noor, Branda, your English is too good. Thank you. I've been receiving a lot of comments from this same kind, but I have good news for you. Is that I've talked in deep details about this topic, how I learn languages, what are the basic activities I've actually make sure to do in order to get to the level I am, which I was on the fourth life of dead. You could check it on my channel, and I hope you get really informed from it. Black Cat. I hope I answered the question too. Brazil, welcome. England, UAE, welcome everyone. Muslim Manure, I hope you get your answer. Canada, welcome everyone. Portugal, my brother Jacob sends his salams, which is peace, to all of you. He's currently going to sleep, but he liked to say hi. I was happy to find your channel. How reliable is your Wi Fi? How reliable is your electricity? This is my my phone. So we do not have any kind of electricity here in Gaza. Like, I mean, real electricity. How do we charge our phones? We use solar system, and for the Wi-Fi, it isn't granted too. Granted? Is it the word? Yes. I've actually the first vlog, like not like the first vlog, but the first vlog was like a civilian day in Gaza, something like that. My day in my life as a civilian in Gaza. I've talked how I get internet, which is actually by buying internet cards. Yes, Jacob told you. Jacob's saying like, did you see his suffering while getting water? If you haven't seen our latest documentary or vlog, you'd find the link in the description. As far as I know, yes, it is there. Um, welcome everyone from France, Ireland, Swiss. Okay, welcome from Italy. Welcome, everyone. عارف ايش بتحكي لك البنت؟ عارف ايش بتقول لك؟ مش عارفة هي بنت ولا ولد. مش انت حكيت لهم انه عن المية يشوفوك، فهي بتقول لك انه انت كنت رائع وانت بتحمل المية الثقيلة. For the comment that said, your brother was so wonderful collecting that heavy water, so he tells you, that's the most easiest thing I would do in a day. So, I thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Glad you enjoy my content. Welcome from USA. Okay, now I think I want to tell you like what are my plans for this life because I have a lot of things to talk about. There are a lot of serious life updates about our situation here in Gaza, and also I've took collected here some of your questions that I've seen in your comments. People will be really interested in answering that, and also I'm going to talk about a really important topic that may confuses a lot of people outside of Gaza. Thank you, Shaggy, for your support. I'm glad you're enjoying the life. Uh, yes, which is how can people outside of Gaza really help Gaza? And does boycotting pro-Israeli brands really does benefit at all? While I'm also gonna talk about my personal take on that. So also I'm gonna be answering questions here. So we've got a like real heavy episode today. So in your opinion, uh, where could we start? Like, do you prefer we start with the questions I've got from your comments, or talking about the boycotting and my personal take on that, or take some of your um, like questions? Tell me because I'm really interested to know your opinions. I've seen here a lot of people uh, talking about boycotting since the beginning. No Starbucks, no McDonald's, no Coca Cola. That's what's from Love Forever Rose. And another one, boycotting every day. I do not support genocide. The boycotting. Okay. So some people are with talking about questions from your, or a lot of people support talking about boycotting. Boycotting is difficult considering only a few large corporations own everything. Can I talk about that? Do kids get any education now in any way? That is going to be a heavy chunk of informations whenever I'm going to talk about the Girls in Life update because I have real serious thoughts to talk about. Boycotting. Okay, seems like a lot of you are supporting me talking about boycotting. Okay, we have people from Turkey, Argentina. Welcome. Didaka, can you teach me a new information for the day and tell me what is the name of this flag? I'd be more than glad to know about it. Okay, so for let's take Bosnia and Herzegovina. So is it like the country has those both names or one name? You know what I mean? Love from Siberia, Russian Federation, Free Palestine, welcome. I think that is the flag of Bangladesh, the green and the red dot, right? Near Croatia. I know Croatia. Once like in world like the football World Cup, in not the last one but the previous one, I guess. The last, as far as I remember, the last match was between Croatia and France. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? And as far as I remember, I was on the Croatian side, like, yeah, but didn't win, unfortunately. YouTube ARS, Arsh, I wish we switched lives. If you're saying that, feeling that my life is more interesting for you to experience, or you think your life would be more comfortable with me, I don't know. I, I don't really understand the take in that sentence, but believe me, you won't. You won't be happy because, not because like, oh my god, we're suffering. Like, no, but I mean, it's not meant for you. You know what I mean? Just believe in this idea. If it's meant for you, then it is for you. If it isn't for you, it is not meant for you. I hope my words are um, like clear. Okay, so now let's get into the point. How can people outside of Gaza really support Gaza during these hardships? And does boycotting really affect the economy and would really help stopping such hardships? But and what if we don't have alternatives for products? What could we do? Well, let's take on the first question. How can people outside Gaza support us in this situation? Well, actually, there are many ways. The most obvious one, I'm assuming like you don't have a job, uh, and just you feel for us and you'd like to support us. So, the first thing and the most basic thing is to actually support us online. Well, how come? It is so easy. There are a lot of people on social media from the Gaza Strip documenting the suffering. Maybe you're not interested to see like everyday videos about a life being so full of such negative energy, but at least by supporting them, you're doing the least you can do. And here we gotta be so specific about the idea behind helping. Like, if you're, I mean, this is the way I think about it, you know? If I was to give help only because I feel it would change someone's life, and if I saw that it didn't really change his life, then my help was meaningless. This is an endpoint that isn't pleasant, in my opinion. So, on the contrary, I think about it with this way. Like, if I want to help someone, it's only and only because I want to. I don't care if my help really was that effective. Like, I could be helping him, lifting him up, doing the best for him. It doesn't have to be for the other person to be in war zone. I'm talking about normal life activities also, like socializing. If my friend had a problem and I was really meaningful about help her to overcome fear, overcome any struggles that she's having, I'm doing this only because I would feel comfortable doing that. I want to. I want to give her some of my energy, you know? But what if she turns her back on me? What if she was, say, betraying me later on? What if it is her acts? She is responsible for her response. Her response does not have any connect with my feelings about myself. You know what I mean? This is a really important and critical point. Let me make it. Tell me. Yes, back? Just tell me. Yes, yes. Send thumbs up. Okay, okay. So, thanks. Thanks for everyone who is answering my question. It is actually 10 p.m. right now, if you're asking. So, let me make my point crystal clear again. My feelings about my actions and my beliefs has nothing to do with people's reactions to my behavior. I could be doing something really good and people would still put me down and yell at me while my intention was to help. So if I was doing the help only for the reaction or for the outcome, this is what's going to determine if my help was really helpful or meaningful, and which is not good. Why? Because life isn't always fair. You know what I mean? I don't want to be talking the same sentence again and again and again, but I hope you are catching my point. So tell me, was my words were my words really clear? I'm really interested in talking about it and seeing your opinions. Welcome from Germany. Without finding out from them won't help them. Sometimes helping someone without finding out from them won't help them. Can you please clear your point, Ella Nina? You mean if you tried to give help and it wasn't that helpful for the person, does that mean you're not helping at all? I want to understand more. Unfiltered. I'm Zikra. We are with your Akhti, love from India. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I'm glad you're enjoying my life. By the way, Ukhti means my sister in Arabic, but we write it um, in English uh, letters. I mean, without finding out what they need. So, of course, like this is this is very clear. If I want to help someone, I need to understand what they need. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna help them with my capabilities. You know, I don't have to put real pressure on me. You know what I mean? So now, uh, Vic Levy, you have a lot of positivity. Your smile encourages us. There's still some hope. Otherwise, we see pics and videos of hellish life similar to the hmm, YouTube. YouTube's gonna block me if I said this, but uh, I understand your point, and I appreciate your enjoying my content. Um, I prefer to call it a mentality than a positivity because positivity, like over overly being positive, turns into toxicity, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Okay, so you can't please everyone all the time. You are a good person and you make good decisions without having to second guess yourself. If you're talking about me, thank you for your ingestion. Is that is that the word? Like your thoughts about me. And if you're saying like a common word or like a wisdom thought, maybe you've got a point. Okay, dark think. I read today that individual fundraisers are being limited or deleted. You had this. Uh, I'm gonna tell you based on my knowledge. As far as I know, the fundraisers that gets limited or deleted has a problem in connecting an international bank account into the page, so the money would be still on the website and the people wouldn't be able to get it. However, in our case, we've actually don't have that problem. It is solved from the beginning. We have a friend in the UK who helps us get the aid, uh, like a family friend. I appreciate it. I appreciate this person because he's really given us a great favor. And each week, actually, we get the money transferred, so don't worry. Okay, so let's continue on the same topic. As I said, how people could help Gazans. First of all, you gotta have the mindset of you're doing this because you want to, not because you have to. Because people, if they feel obligated, don't really observe the field. This thing when you would be like in a good mood and you're about to go do the dishes, clean the home from yourself, and then your mom says, "Oh, for example, Randa, do the dishes." I'd be like, "Ah, why did you tell me I was gonna do it?" But as far as she said to me and obligated me to do it, I'm not like, "Oh, I don't want to do it anymore." You know what I mean? So yeah, that is. Am I the only one? Okay, so let's now complete universal experience. Yes. Okay, let's continue. After having the mindset, now we're gonna head into the next step. I thank you again. You completely don't have to do anything of that. We're here to enjoy each other, like chatting, talking together. I hope you're enjoying. I'm glad that you enjoy my content and I appreciate your support. Okay, people, you are distracting me. Distracting? Like I'm trying to keep focus, say the things, and you are here asking questions. But okay, let's continue. After having the mindset, now we head into the next step. I'm broke, I don't have a job, but I have the feeling I'd love to help people in need. Amplify their voices, share their posts, grow their pages, follow them, increase like their platforms because that helps them amplify their voices, makes their messages reach a larger number of people, which would help them reach the people who would support them at the end. Okay, this is clear, I think. Now, after doing this, now I have money. I'd like to support. Okay, no problem. But how about I want to do something more effective? I want to think about ways that could be really effective on the wrong side, on the immoral side, doing or causing all this frustration. So now we came with the idea of boycotting pro-Israeli brands. Now, some people go boycotting in thoughts of this is the way that we put pressure on the economy of the other, like, okay, I'm not gonna say any names here, but you gotta be understanding. If I said the blue one, I mean the occupation. So people rose for the boycotting, saying like, okay, we want to put economic economic, is it the word? Economic pressure on that country, on that occupation. So we're gonna boycott any brand that has any ties with this. And also, this comes with the idea of protesting in universities who have ties with the occupation too. So now these people came with this idea and they are going on their ways. They are really supportive, hopeful, meaningful doing this activity. So by raising awareness and sharing many posts, many messages, many ideas about this specific movement, it became a pressure because it went like really viral on the media. So the people who do not boycott started feeling the pressure of not boycotting because they would be catcalled or like people would be like shaming on them like, oh my god, you do not boycott, shame on you, etc. So now the people who do not want to boycott, they need to come with an idea to convince people that they're doing nothing and not really doing well. Ubedallah, brave sister Rhonda, salute to you. Tell something about your tawakkul on Allah. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it and glad you're enjoying the content. And for tawakkul on Allah means relying on God, believing in God. I'm actually was gonna talk about that later on, so stay tuned. We're gonna head to that point. So, they started saying that the boycotting is really effective. People think that they will destroy such an economy, etc. So here comes the confusion. Does boycotting really affect the economy, or is it just a trend, just a movement for people who are like empathetic for this cause? I actually made my searches and I've got some news. The short answer is yes, there is like a calculated economic um, effects. But how big are they? For example, as far as I Googled, you see, Google, for example, is a boycotted brand, but millions of people are using it right now. How? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk about this point. So, for example, Unilever, which is the brand of a lot of um, like makeup, body care products, the market share in Indonesia fell from 38.5 to 34.9. The sales down 80.2%, which is 533 million in one quarter. The home care, the home care 20.8%. The food and refreshment 13.3%. So sometimes if the brand is global, some markets or some regions would have a bigger fall than the other. For example, as I said, here in Indonesia was the biggest effect. The Starbucks, for example, there was a global comparable store sales down, which is 7% in a quarter. Revenues 3% increasing, decreasing. Um, so boycotting was considered as a factor in some regions. McDonald's, Nestle, Coca-Cola. Also, people are like boycotted Coca-Cola. So when you boycott a brand, you need to look for an alternative. So people looked for an alternative and found, for example, a local Palestinian brand such as Cha. Cola saw Chat Cola, which saw 40% sales surge, which is 40% increase with the sales. Thank you, Anna Rita. I appreciate your support. So, um, so now, is the boycotting affecting or not? As we saw in numbers, it is effective. But, however, a lot of those companies are actually like worth billions of dollars. So sometimes the company would reach a point where no matter how big or how much money it loses, it does not really critically affects the company. Now, why I'm saying this? Because I'd like to describe and to have a critical point of view on this topic. You know what I mean? As in more details, in more depth. So it would be really for me great because I'll be having all different points of views, all different sides of the matter, and I get to choose with fully acknowledging the situation. You know what I mean? So now, in my opinion, do I boycott or not? If I was outside of Gaza, I would absolutely boycott. And here in Gaza, I am boycotting. However, as we all know, the huge, huge blockade and the like very little aid that gets to entered or get delivered here, they are delivered from their side, and they systematically wait. Don't feel like everything they do is just they do it just for the sake of doing it. No, everything is calculated. Everything is known. So they make sure to get the their brands into the strip because they are seeing us as only consumers because we are, as I described in my last live, the Maslow's theory, the Maslow's pyramid. We are actually on the first base level here. We're only looking for food, water, warmth. So they know that we want to be deeply thinking about anything, we just want to survive. So they will get benefit of these times and get their products in. However, when I go to the market and I see their products and I see that even if there's no alternative, of course there would be any alternatives, but I wouldn't allow myself to buy this product. Why? Because I feel like every time I would use this product, I would be my family members that I've lost in the beginning of this war. I'd be demolishing my home from the start. I'd be expelling my family and my neighborhood again from the start. These are the memories I recall because I lived this. I did not see it on news. I did not hear about it. I saw it with my eyes. And the body does remember everything. There is a body memory. How about making a new live the next time about the body memory while I tell you some traumas I had? This sounds really like interesting. Okay, so Ella says it benefits them. They put the money into their own business. And when the food is withheld or spoiled, it creates more demand and they can drive the prices up. They put money into their own business. even if you just, I don't think I got your point, but I'm interested to know. Um, Mine said forward, from river to the sea, Palestine will be free. It is, yes. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Okay. Shoaib, thanks for explaining the boycott movement from your perspective. It is a totally different thing living the general and watching it on social media. Of course it is. Of course it is. Because uh, it's been always known that living the experience isn't like watching it, because it's obvious. I don't have to explain it. Why? I feel like I want to explain everything. Okay, so now, let me tell you about. I was talking that, yes, when I'm here, I'm boycotting because I feel my memory connects to it with a more harsh thing, and I do not want to insist it every time I use the product. You know what I mean? And also, I feel like at the end of the day, I won't die if I didn't use it. And here also we come into another point of view, which is there are two kinds of people. There are the consumers and the mindful people. What does that mean? I saw that time a tweet for a girl saying, I don't care about Palestine. I just like I don't care about boycotting. I want to go to Starbucks. I want to go to a concert. I don't need every time I go to a concert see attend a lecture or being lectured about Palestine. Just let me be, let me enjoy, leave me. So this is the first kind of people, which is the first of all, a consumer. If you are that kind of person, that means you are on the lowest level of a human being's life. I don't say this because you do not care about Palestine or you do not care about boycotting. It is not about Palestine or boycotting. It's about your brain, your mindset, and your whole life is locked on the very basic level, the very standard, the very lower level of a human's life, which is the basic needs food, water, interests. You know what I mean? So, this is the most low and basic level a person could be. And if you're in this phase, moving on, time moves on, you would be only locked in this place, you would find there's no purpose in life. You would lack hope, you would lack passion, you would lack motivation because the things that used to interest you, which is attending a concert, eating, having a party, etc., with the time won't be. Hello, I'm back, right? Correct me. Tell me, am I back? Malays, welcome to Amplify God's People's Story. Glad you're enjoying my content and glad that you reached a point where we're really investing in amplifying God's voices. Thank you. Okay, what was I talking about? I remember I was talking about the two kinds of people in this world. Ziki, I have to leave for work, but I want to give you my well wishes before I go. We are with you. Glad you enjoyed my life, and you can watch it on there you watch. No problem. I support people go to their responsibilities and be responsible adults. So, no problem. Rahoma Ali, dear sister, do you know about Sahar Gaza? It's her YouTube channel. She didn't post anything since last 2 months. Please contact her and ask her for help. And please tell me, is she okay? I appreciate your concerns and your care about people here in Gaza. But I think you need to understand something. Like, as she's an influencer for you, she's also an influencer for me. What does that mean? We haven't met, we haven't like followed each other. Like she followed me, I follow her, but she doesn't. You know what I mean? So it is really a high chance if I sent her a message, it would be just like any follower message, and I have no problem with that actually. You know what I mean? And Gaza isn't like a small town, so if there would be any chance to contact her, I'd be more than pleasant to do that for you. But unfortunately, like I have no way. Okay, so as I said, there's there are the people who are considered as harshit. Bye, sister. I have to go to studies. Love you. Tomorrow is a festival in India, which is celebrated between brother and sister. I consider you as my sister. Thank you. Uh, Glad you enjoyed my life till this point. And yes, go to study. Your life is waiting for you. Yes. Abdullah's sister, pray for me. Even me and my family get Iman like you people of Gaza. I appreciate your support and glad you're enjoying my life. You mean your family and you have such a strong faith. I'm glad. Thank you. Okay. So as I was saying, unfiltered. Thank you. I appreciate it. There are the consumers people who are only dedicated thinking about always consuming. These are the lowest tier of a human life. You know what I mean? Now there are the other side, the people who are mindful, who knows their worth and start questioning, thinking about all the beliefs, about all the thoughts in this universe, who started questioning their ideologies, where they belong, where they don't. You know what I mean? So they know that they're worth more than just being like an animal, looking for food, for sleep, for water. Now, consumers wouldn't be interested in supporting any like global cause because it doesn't affect them in present moment. And as I said, they do not think about the meaning of their lives. They're only thinking about consuming. Catlin, praying, Free Palestine stand strong. Thank you, Catlin Bree, for your support. I appreciate it. Glad you're enjoying the content. Okay, so what was I saying? Yes, they wouldn't be. Yeah, they do not think about anything. They only care about themselves. The other people be mindful. They would be interested in people's case, causes, the international, the humanity, etc. So they are the ones who would take movements, take steps forward, trying to push, trying to make some pressure. Hopefully, they would reach a place where they would be doing something helpful. You know. So I feel this is the difference, and this doesn't have to be tied only with boycotting. I've seen a lot of people talking about climate change, people caring about the environment, people caring about animals, people caring about the the ocean, the cleanness, so there are many global causes before this cause that needed attention, and a lot of people stand with that. These, in my opinion, as far as I understand, they are the mindful people. Abdul Sabor Kadir, I appreciate your support, but I prefer you compliment me on my work rather than my look, because that's the more important thing. And my look is only by chance, it's just luck. God decided to make me this way, and it's not that I decided to choose how to look, but I decided to choose how my work look. So it would be my pleasure if you compliment me on my work rather than my look. Elizabeth, sorry it's not a whole lot, but $5 is still $5, so hopefully it's useful. Thank you, Elizabeth, for your support. First of all, second of all, like, sorry, why are you saying that? I mean, like, a mountain is built by small, smashed pieces of rocks, all stacked up another. You know what I mean? So never underestimate your help. As I said before, um, you're doing your the help based on your capabilities, and the idea of just attempting to do so is so appreciated for me, because for me, viewing, commenting, like it is more than enough. You don't have to do all this. So never underestimate your help. Okay, so we've talked about boycotting in a very deep way, and I've talked about in details how people would look at it from different perspectives. Is it really benefiting or not? But the last point I said is because, as I said, I stated before, um, big, really big companies want to be like really affected, losing some billions or some millions. You know what I mean? Because they are already in a stage owning and occupying a big part of the market. So the people would say, "Oh, it's not effective. Why even boycotting?" So here comes the idea of that I'm boycotting because I want to show solidarity for myself. I treat myself as a person or as a human that worth being in a high position. I don't like to be in such a basic level, only caring about my needs, my basic survival activities, just like what's the difference then between me and an animal? Pardon me for making this comparison, but this is the actual life. The only difference between us and animals is the brain. And I, as a full human being, I am aware of my capabilities and my worth. So I insist on that, and I amplify this message to my deep brain by giving myself to consume only what is worthy of me using it. You know what I mean? Like, treat yourself like something really expensive. Something expensive wouldn't be using anything. It it would be selective, using only the things that are worthy of using. You know what I mean? I hope that is clear. And also, I look about some things like, okay, but what if there was no other way? Like, what if the brand or the item, the service I'm using has no alternative. Like it's really completely controlling our lives. Like for example, Meta, Facebook, Instagram. We've seen many times that they restricted the Palestinian um, pages, etc. But looking at our lives, actual lives right now, do we have a real alternative other than Facebook and Instagram that gives the same value? Unfortunately, no. Why? Because Facebook has over a billion users, so it's worldwide and it has such a power. So how can I use it? I can use it, for example, as the way I am using my Instagram to amplify my voice, to spread my message. So I used it in a way that serves me and serves my cause. So in this way, I'd be like, okay, we we're doing this. You know what I mean? All the time. It takes a lot of security in oneself to have that mindset while you are going through danger like this. Though I understand those who can't do anything else but basic needs. Thank you for your supportive words. But actually, being in this channel is a whole experience of having a lot of empty times. I'm gonna explain. There's no electricity, no TV, no, you know what I mean? No internet 24/7. So there are actual times we sit like a really long hours with ourselves, doing the dishes, on the fire, baking, or cooking, doing the laundry. So these activities are not fun. Don't confuse me. Like if I was cooking in a fully setted kitchen, having the gas, the cooker, you know what I mean? Cooking gas, it would be okay. Like it would be so awesome. I wouldn't be bored. But when you try to make the fire and then it goes off, so you need to put more plastic and then you gotta breathe all these toxics because you have no other choice. And if your day was bad, the wood is so full of water, so now you need to look for alternatives or wait for the wood to be to get rid of the wet of being wet again, you know what I mean? So these processes are boring and takes a lot of time. During these times, I'm alone with myself doing the chores. So these are the times that like it has both sides. Like okay, it's boring, inhuman, toxic, but also it gives me times to think with myself about the everything, revising my thoughts, revising my beliefs, living in denial, and revising that mentality. You know what I mean? So my tip for you when they say like, oh, when you wake up in the morning, you gotta you gotta like not use the phone for an hour at least. Um, they are right. They are correct. With this world full of fake adrenaline, internet scrolling down all the day, movies, TVs, like they are trying very hard to pull your attention because it transfers later on to money. So that means your attention is precious and expensive. So why not turning that attention into things that really matters to you, that makes a fortune for yourself? Isn't that great? So my advice for people, yes, do that. You know what I mean? Take some time for yourself. Okay, we've talked a lot about this topic. It took a lot of time, but I hope my uh, points were clear and we've navigated or like misunderstoodment or something like that. Red Note is from China. It is better than Facebook and Instagram. Well, for example, this he talks about an alternative, but I did not hear about it, and this is my first time I see it or hear about it. You know what I mean? So there are powerful sides. Like what can I say? There are positions, and there are like there's the power divided on these positions. The one that is more powerful, that has more power, it has been proved to be more effective. And here comes a bigger challenge. You know what I mean? Ishal Mansour, I think I would more become hateful to everything, even God, mostly God, rather than that. I'd even try to reach out when I feel my hands are wrapped and paralyzed, dormant cricks in my neck. I don't feel I understood the last line, but I mean, you may have meant being feeling really bad and aggressive and hateful for the situation you are living. Is that correct? Tell me. Well, I've actually had my thoughts also about religion, God, and I've seen this a lot in my comments, especially from atheists, saying like, if God was existing, why would He allow these bad situations to happen? Why would He allow people to suffer in such a position? And I understand your misunderstanding, but that needs a different session because it's gonna be going so deep. I'm gonna be reflecting my ideas, taking some of your ideas, such just like the boycotting. So if you're interested in talking about this topic, tell me, and we'd go. We'd talk about it in another life. Okay. So how about now talking about answering some questions that I've got from your comments on the channel. I feel that'll be great. Facial boycotting definitely works. McDonald's in my area has never been so desperate. Yeah, as I said, it is effective. Maybe regional, maybe international, depends on the company. But my point was that a lot of companies would be reaching a certain point where they are very big to a point those laws aren't really affecting them. And I will not say by that, oh my god, the boycotting isn't effective. But I'm saying that if you're boycotting only for the sake of the reaction of your boycotting, then you would be disappointed if you really seen those companies and how they are working. You know what I mean? And it would bring you down, saying, oh my god, my works aren't really helpful, aren't really effective. However, if you're boycotting from a standpoint where you are boycotting only because you are wanting to and you believe in doing so, that would be more effective for you. You know what I mean? Okay, so, What are you looking forward to? From Chuck. I'm looking forward to survive. Yes. I don't wanna I don't like to really like keep going on saying I don't want being negative, so I would attract the negativity. But I'm gonna say it in confirmed sentences. So I'm saying I want to complete my life in a safe and secure place, maintaining my dreams, getting the life I want to, and live it the way I want to. Is that clear? Okay, now I've had some question from a mother. Her account names was Wendy White. She says, how she asked me, how do I cope with the stress and maintain my grace and good disposition? How do I avoid despair, depression, and mental health issues? As these topics are a very huge concerns in the U.S. with the suicide. She has a son who's 14-year-old, and she sees him as a massive, frankly, and she wants to know what keeps me this way, so she would help her son be but in a better position. Yet she wanna help him. And I appreciate careful moms because as a teenager, we actually would be in a phase where we see like family as boring. We won't be like listening to mom or dad, only be whether it's self-centered or centered about our friends, about just we're like, oh my god, leave me alone. I just want to do things the way I want to do it. You know what I mean? So, um, as far as I know, suicide comes from two certain points. It's whether people, like, other than being threatened, you know what I mean? It's whether people have lost a meaning in this life. Like they didn't find a meaning for this life, or they are not receiving much support and they do not feel their self-worth or their value of existence. So that's why they decide to themselves. You know what I mean? So they do not feel they are worthy of living or existence and they do not find a meaning in life. Now, feeling self worth or how to raise a self worth of a teenager, I'm not gonna here just be saying words like as if I'm a professor, a doctor. No, I'm just gonna talk my personal experience and only my personal experience because I like to be authentic and this is a journey where I'm learning and you're learning, we're learning from each other. So I'd like to share you my journey. Hopefully you would get something and you would correct me if I had something wrong. So in my journey as a teenager, like my self-worth been raised, of course, with the family support. Well, okay, if you have a teenager, you'll be like, I love you, mom, I love you, dad. You'll be like, huh, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? But if you don't know, there are five languages of love. I feel this is the basic thing to know. Some people prefer the words of affirmation. Some people prefer the hugs. Some people prefer quality time. Some people prefer acts of service, and some people prefer gifts. So try to see where your teenager sits on this scale. Also, something really increases the self esteem and the self confidence for the teenager is amplifying them. What I mean by that is if you like found out that he is passionate about something like a hobby or an act, it like make him confident doing that. Support them. For example, when I was like grade seventh, we had an art project. We had to use acrylic paints to do some art as a project, and my parents got me those art supplies. And after the project, I fell in love with art and painting, and I felt like, oh my god, I'm passionate. This is something that really gets my energy out in a very pleasant way. So, my parents noticed that. So, what would they do? They would support me when, for example, the art supplies finished. They support me to get another ones and try different materials. Whenever I'm showing them, they would be like, "Oh my god, that looks crazy! That it looks support." Okay, people are asking, how do we donate? First, thanks for your will to support. Second, you can find the link in the description of this live. I've put it. I don't know, I've seen like a lot of people are asking the same questions. If you didn't find it in the description of this live, you can find it in the description of my channel. I hope that makes it clear for you and other people as well. So, how to raise the self-esteem for like a teenager is by supporting him in his activities, in his hobbies, and trying new things. And for the finding meaning in life, this actually, at least for myself, I don't think I would be finding a meaning for life without believing in a religion or in God. You know what I mean? So I hope my answers were clear. For people asking continuously about the link, I'll put it in the pinned message. Try the link and tell me if it's working or not. It does not work? Okay, I'm gonna get it for you. Wait a second. Hmm. I repinned the link to me. Is it good now? I'm back. Hmm. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna edit the link in the description, but it's in the pin message too. So, okay. Okay. Um. So how about now turning into your questions? I feel I don't feel you're interested in answering the comments questions, so I have no problem if you have any question to be answered here. It would be my pleasure. Sally Preston, how would you like your future to be? What would make you most happy? I'm impressed by how you study, about how hard you study despite so difficult circumstances. Wishing you that your dreams come true. Thank you, Sally, for your wishes and for your kind words. Um, okay, so we have many questions about the future and what would make me happy. I'm back. Oh my goodness, such a chaos. Thanks everyone for staying here. Hey, Mary, sending so much love. You're amazing. Keep talking and sharing. Hopefully, people will see the truth soon and things will change. Thank you for your support. I acknowledge your profile picture and all. You're a great supporter, and I'm glad that you're enjoying my content. Okay, I think someone was asking how I see my future and what makes me happy. Well, I want my future to feel or to be safe, secure. That's the most important things for me. Yeah, because safety and security would bring me other things for granted. And for what makes me happy, I believe that happiness is an emotion and that comes and goes. But gratitude is a state of mind. So I prefer to be grateful because happiness also comes from the inside, not from the outside. I get to choose whether to be happy or not, even if everything around me is shut down, everything is demolished. I get to choose to turn my phone on, turn on music, put my headphones, and live the life. So yeah, how about taking another question? Uh, what would you like to make videos about? Hmm, such a question. I want to make videos about everything that interests me. I want to make documentaries about information that I've learned as if I'm talking to my bestie. And I want to make videos about how I recover after surviving. I want to make videos about how I get my hands on my life back together and how I resettle after all this chaos, instability, and insecurity I've been living for the past 2 years. I forgot I was wanting to talk about the life updates about here. The most important update about our position here in Gaza. 3994. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Um, I'm sure you've heard the news that they officially took the decision to take over Gaza and fully occupy it as if they aren't already. But the problem is, this means a long time suffering, and they've said up until 7th of coming October, all people must be evacuated to the southern of the strip, and that is the biggest, the biggest like moment of my life that I felt was so much hurting. Why? Because that means all the suffering that I've had in the past 2 years are coming now in front of me as if I'm watching a movie. And it is gonna be coming back, repeating itself again. Now, for example, I'm able to upload videos, I'm able to make lives only and only because I am in a place, for example, in that, as you see, I have a wall like behind me. I've took this place as a shelter. My phone is demolished. So now with the evacuation, where am I supposed to go? There's no shelters. There's no shelter. They're all like they are systematically bombing schools, UN schools, shelters, refuge camps, and people are so compressed into tents on the sea, on just sand. These places are so dangerous. Why? Because we would be on the street, literally, putting the tent of nylon, some cloth, with the insects being all around us. You can't be like, oh my god, I have a phobia from spiders, from cockroaches. Oh, they are your friends, living with you, sleeping with you in the same place, rather than also the, finding cats, dogs. There's no hygiene, no security. We're gonna need to build everything from scratch. Why? For example, someone would say, okay, then take your things, take your belongings, take your beddings with you, take your clothes. You don't have to buy everything from scratch. I'm gonna tell him, absolutely, you do not live in Gaza. Why? Because there's no transportation. There's no uh, car gas, solar, what do you call it? Petrol. Is it petrol? Saying the Arabic words, hopefully they are like native for the English words. Like I remember the time we evacuated from Khan Yunis into fuel. Yes, there's no fuel. From Khan Yunis into Rafah, where we were forced to evacuate the UN refugee camp after bombing it. Yes, I bombed a UN refugee camp, and I lived these days. And I can tell you in details how we spent our most and last horrifying days at that place. And when we went from Khan Yunis to Rafah, no transportation. All people would be going with their cars. Some buses would be the available buses. Would take certain people. The people who were able to evacuate only like by cars are only the people who were able to pay the highest price. Like I remember that we had to pay 300, a little more 300 USD only to get out from a heli zone. Do you understand what I'm talking about? I got like we paid more than 300 USD only for few kilometers. Just, and we didn't buy like, oh my god, I'm gonna give you the 300, but you must like take me to a secure place where my tent is ready and people who are like waiting me at the gate who would take me. No, we literally, oh my god, that's another story. If you want me to tell you the story of evacuating the UN refugee camp in Khan Yunis and Rafah and how we really survived such a hard time after being thrown into the street, that would be an insane episode. So, after all this suffering that we've endured in those 20, 21 months, and we also, they always try to manipulate us, they saying, like, oh my god, a truce is coming and no ceasefire. Just wait for the good news, guys. Wait for the good. Don't be so like have some patience. And then they would smash your head with the worst decision ever, or the worst news at least for you. So now tell me, where am I supposed to go? That's the question number one. Question two, what am I supposed to go to do? What am I supposed to do? Question number three, do you know that people who make tents on the streets are forced to make their own bathrooms too because of course they gotta build everything from scratch and the hygiene is zero, 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 zero hygiene. Yes, I can confirm that. So I don't know, like I don't know even if we'd be able to stay connected because how like the new area that I'm going to, I don't know anything about its logistics, its services, if there was to be internet, you know what I mean? So it's like I don't know, living another 2 years again. This is frustrating. I don't know. Um, it frustrates me thinking about this idea. What are your thoughts about it? And I've heard another news that they like a certain person gave them the green light to benefit from the natural gas in Gaza for from now till 2040. 2040, that means 15 years. You know what does 15 years mean? Like if if that would be possible to me to live in a safe place, that would be like finish university, got enrolled into the UN, and came back to help my people here as a UN member, and the war would be still going. I would be in my 30s. It started when I'm a teen, and it will end as a 30. Also, um, during this time, like we are crying, like we are feeling so bad on the younger generation because in those 2 full years, we've missed 2 full academic years. Now imagine this situation being consistent into 15 years. So they will be sure that a huge, like a big number of generations would be raised on ignorance. Ignorance, is that a word? The word like knowing nothing, have no education. Like for example, my brother is 9 years old, the youngest, and so after a 15 year, he would be 24, 24 without education, without schools, without universities. What are you saying? Now, I want you to imagine these 15 years passed by. Let's imagine, okay? Now you have a full generation knowing zero words. He doesn't know anything about education. So by that, we've already went 3 generations back. What does that mean? My grandpa, may his soul rest in peace. Unfortunately, it's the genocide worse, but he didn't continue school. He left at maybe grade 6, and the things were unstable because they were also occupying us, like, before liberating. You know what I mean? So it took my grandpa like 3 generations. Like for example, he had children, and those children, like mom, aunties, had another generation, which is me and my cousins. And then the third generation, we started to live in an actual reality where everyone is going to school, no one is skipping a grade, or a semester, and education becomes a real fundamental demand. So after this 15 years, we're gonna need another 3 generations to uh, like be living in another semi semi like um point, or situation of the situation where we're living, where education is spread and people are going to schools again. Do you know how horrific this actually sounds? I actually literally so amazed. Not out of goodness, but actually out of complete shock that this is happening in 2025. And I would be in my 70s, 80s if God gave me that much of age. Until I would be living in Gaza again, where I see kids going to school. What? I feel like I'm in a different time era where, where like, of course, we are being systematically being separated from the world's time zone. It is horrifying, yes. It is. It is horrible. Nora, I've got this question in the last vlog also. Have you lived in Belgium before? No, I didn't. But why my bio just says that I'm in Belgium? Because I've connected my channel into my aunt's number from Belgium. You know what I mean? So that's why. Johnny, it's awful. I don't understand the powerful and greedy theocrats doing any of it. I'm so sorry and I'm so ashamed of the decisions of my country. Love from Alabama. Support. I appreciate your support. And I've always been, and I am actually, believing that the government and the people are two separated individuals. So, ah, oh my god, this is a tiring topic. Okay, it's been a really wonderful time. So looking forward to answering your questions. So if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer, I'd be more then glad to see it because soon we need to go away. Calling Larry. Texas here. I contact and spread awareness daily. Each day I will do more. Appreciate your support. Swipe. If somehow the 39K goal in the GoFundMe was reached before October, will you be able to evacuate to Egypt with your family? We can widely share the link and try to reach the goal. Unfortunately, there's many obstacles. First of all, the borders aren't closed. Are closed, so it is hard. You need to find a scholarship or to like get a like a medical treatment or something like that. It's hard to get out of this trip right now, but we may find a way. But also, uh, I've actually been updating on the website. Maybe you haven't seen it. That the money we receive actually we use it on daily basic survival because we live in a time where 1 kilogram of flour costing $30 and 1 kilogram of sugar costing $100. So unfortunately, we've been using this money actually to survive. And until the borders open or there will be any chance, we'll stay in contact. Like I'll tell you. And I've talked about this on the last live that um, the support we see from people online is actually what keeps us alive. Does anyone have any question? Sylvia, what do you aspire to be? You are a very intelligent young lady. I loved listening to your first live. You mean the first one I uploaded? Glad you enjoyed it. Um, I actually aspire to be someone. Hmm, if you mean like a job or an occupation, I don't want like to make it like my dream of life, but I'd like to say that I aspire to be someone who's safe and like safe. He is safe mentally, like psychologically, physically, and also is a safe place for others. You know, I like for people to be comfortable. You know what I mean? Being emotionally mature, um, mentally mature actually makes me really love talking to people because I'd be analyzing them and telling them the way they would like to. You know what I mean? Omar Shaban, inshallah, we will have the big march in London tomorrow. Glad to hear that. I appreciate it. Appreciate your support. Okay, it's been actually a very long time. It's been past an hour and 40 minutes. Thank you everyone for joining, and I'm glad that this life would be serving you. Okay, seeing you soon, inshallah. Bye. Thanks for everyone who joined. I really appreciate your precious time for coming here.